While you were developing your own handwritten fonts in the previous section, you were still just writing letters. In this video, I will show you how to draw letters and let you know why you might want to do that. Let's get into it. First, let's start by answering a basic question. What is hand lettering? I've already mentioned that it involves drawing letters rather than writing them. Another way to describe hand lettering is making art with words. It's a way to go one step further than we did in the previous section. Why might you want to take your work with text one step further? Well, it's a great way to emphasize specific words or phrases. Even though this course is about visual note-taking, verbal communication is still important. Well-crafted sentences are powerful tools, and with hand lettering, you can preserve that verbal power while adding to it some visual flair. That makes hand lettering a great way to take a quote or phrase and make it visual. One way that hand lettering differs from many of the other aspects of visual note-taking is that you should be prepared to iterate, and in most cases you'll want to do the upfront work in pencil before inking it with a pen. Because of that, hand lettering is not the ideal approach in a live setting, unless there happens to be a big window of time when you have no interest or investment in what's currently being discussed. Here then is a simple approach to creating a hand-lettered quote or phrase. Before you get into any fancy styling of the words, start by experimenting with different sizes and layout of those words. Try a long horizontal approach or a narrow vertical approach or something in between. Determine which words you'd like to make big and which small, and how all of those words will fit together on the page. You could even add an image to the mix if you like. Once you've got a configuration that fits well, then turn to the style of the letters. Here you're free to use as many different styles as you like, though you'll probably want to avoid switching styles mid-word. Again, you can experiment with different approaches until you find the right feel, and look for ways to add other useful embellishments as well to make the overall image more dynamic. The final step is to select your favorite styling, sketch it out first in pencil, and then ink it with a pen. At this stage, you might want to add some pencil guidelines for yourself that you can erase later, depending on how precise you'd like to be with your placement. Sometimes it can be really helpful to throw in some horizontal lines or some vertical lines to help that initial pencil stage before you get to inking. You can then take that finalized hand-lettered work and post it to your wall wherever you'd like to be reminded of that idea. I think it's useful to think of hand lettering as a very polished form of visual notes. In addition to being a great way to capture your favorite quotes and remind yourself of those, you could also use them to make homemade cards for friends and family, or maybe to create a featured image for your next blog post, or to incorporate as the title slide of your next presentation. And I'm sure that you can think of many other examples for this polished style of visual notes. Now that you know what hand lettering is all about, you can decide for yourself whether or not this approach of making art out of words is something that you can apply to the projects that you are working on. I have included some activities below to help you make that decision, and then also to help you build your skills and apply this hand lettering where appropriate. So check that out, and I will see you in the next module.